Greetings and welcome to another thrilling, exciting adventure in the world of the Planetary Persuader. My name is Cosmic Kev. I am your host, and what are we talking about this week? Well, we're talking about Sun being in the tropical zodiac Libra. And today the moon is in Taurus, but if we looked in the sky, it'd be in the constellation of Aries. And what part of Aries is it? It is the lunar mansion or nakshatra known as Bharani. Now Bharani is ruled by Venus, and Bharani is entirely in the sign of Aries in the sidereal zodiac. That means the actual zodiac that we're looking at. Okay, so this is the thing where we get confused in tropical astrology, is that all that stuff is based on something that happened 1,500 years ago when 0 degrees Aries happened on the 21st of March, and now on the 21st of March it's like 6 degrees Pisces. So it's everything's moved. You've heard scientists say that. It is true. That's why I love to insert a little bit of Jyotish, a little bit of Vedic wisdom for you. So Bharani is about obsession. Bharani is about things we love to do over and over again, whether it's having babies, having sex, doing yoga, gardening, any of that. The actual ruling symbol is the yoni, the female sex organ. And its ruling deity is one of the sons of the sun god named Yama, who's also known as like the god of death and darkness. So things that are hidden, things aren't always seen, they're developing under Bharani. And because it's in Aries, there's a very youthful energy to it, and sometimes there can be this element of the brahmachari, a man who's a perpetual bachelor, and this is not a great place for Saturn to be in, because it's too youthful to have the discipline sometimes. It has the passion, and sometimes that can lead to a repetitive discipline, but it doesn't have that ability necessarily to know when to stop or when to quit. So it's just a good thing to keep in mind tonight. Alright, so we'll talk a little bit more about the Western Zodiac today. So we've got Uranus and Taurus, Moon in Taurus, North Node in Leo, Sun and Mercury in Libra, which, in the constellation of Virgo in the sidereal Vedic Zodiac, for both the Sun and Mercury right now. And so there's this, and Mercury's combust. I mean, it's very close to the Sun. It's about getting your thinking cap on. I would say this in both systems, because Libra's an air sign, and air signs in the Western Zodiac deal with the intellect, and they deal with the nervous system. And Libra deals with relationships. Virgo would deal with helping other people. So these are things to keep in mind. Both Jupiter and Venus are still in the constellation of Libra. However, we've got some things happening, folks, today. So in the Western Zodiac, Jupiter and Venus are in Scorpio. Okay, so guess what, though? Venus is going to go retrograde and next week. So this is the last week that we are going to have Venus direct. So next Friday, we're going to have, a week from today, we're going to have Venus go retrograde. So that's going to be interesting. And later on in that next week, we have a couple weeks left. In a couple weeks, Jupiter will move into the constellation of Scorpio, and that's going to bring on a different vibe. It's in the Western Zodiac Scorpio, but it's not in that true planetary place that you look at in the sky and see that. And this is why I like to bring this information, because I like to feel like this is separating me from other astrologers out there. And they both work, both systems work, but there's a sacred tradition when you get into the Vedic or Jyotish Zodiac that interrelates with yoga and Ayurvedic medicine, and there's a lot more remedies, there's a lot more charts, there's a lot more tools you can use in that. And it's just harder to learn, to be honest with you. It's a little more difficult to learn this stuff, but if you've got the passion for astrology and you have a passion for spirituality, a passion for health, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Passion for yoga, I highly recommend investigating that. Okay, so Here we go. Without any further ado, we're going to go sign by sign, starting with you, Aries. So, Western horoscopes right now. So, here we go. So, for you this week, it's about manifesting. You know, I mean, at least for today. We'll think about, this is a day where you can manifest money. The weekend, Saturday, Sunday, looks like really good for socializing, hanging out with siblings, neighbors, friends. Mars is still in Aquarius, so it's a good time for socializing, especially with your guy friends or really active female friends that like physical activity. And it's a really good time for sports, you know, going to soccer, football games, I guess the playoffs and baseball, that type of thing. That's a really good way to socialize with people. Another thing that's happening is Pluto's going direct again, and I think for people that it'll help Aries people to some extent. I think it'll help Scorpios a little bit more, but even Aries will feel the vibe like, yeah, okay, things just kind of got a little bit easier, especially for you in the workplace. A lot of changes that have taken place will finally make sense. Saturn's there. You know how to get the work done. One thing I'll say about the Jupiter-Venus position in the 8th house is let other people help you. Don't let your ego get too involved with things. Listen more. Listen twice, speak once. And you've got a lot of creative mojo. That's interfacing with Mars right now. K2's there. There might still be a little excess heat in the system. Just let it all be good. Alright, so greetings Taurus, and welcome to your horoscope. So, what have we got for you today? Well, what we've got for you is the ability to kind of look at our health right now. Like, what has been affecting us, and who do we serve? How do we analyze things? How do we become better team players? How do we improve efficiency? The efficiency of our health, the efficiency of our organizational skills. This is also a time where we're taking care of small pets, perhaps having talks with our aunts and uncles, and a lot of service work, you know, fixing things, gardening things, getting things, you know, winterized, ready. That's what's happening right now. Now, in your 7th house, here's Venus and Jupiter. So there's this love of love coming on. We could all use a little more love right now. I'm welcoming love into my life. Say it with me. I'm welcoming love into my life. I am pure love. You know, that's a... And you are doing good at work too in the career scene. You've got some amount of energy that started last spring, and it's still carrying on in a really great way. And you're inspired. You're a little bit rebellious. You're a little bit, but you're inspired. And this inspiration is going to take you places. Well, hello, Gemini, and it's so nice to see you again. Welcome to your horoscope. So we'll talk a little Mercury talk here. Mercury is now transiting your 5th house, so with the Sun. And this is bringing on a spirit of generosity, spirit of creativity, innovation. You're having fun talking about things. There's a little bit more fun right now. Your heart is a little more open, and you're able to learn things. You're able to pick up information a lot better. 5th house is all about education in some ways too. And it's about clowning around, and it's about being a better father, being better to your children, maybe being a better mother. Some of us these days have to wear both hats. Some mothers have to be fathers as well as mothers, and even more than ever now, more fathers are having to be mothers too at the same time. It's a growing, because things are changing. And you've gone through some deep stuff that's been difficult to maybe resolve, but you've got a sense of longevity. There might be some chronic health issues that you just need a little bit more attention so you can feel better. You're open to taking risks. You're open to learning about exotic, unusual sources to improve that health. And you've got kind of a vision of aesthetics as far as the kind of job you'd like to be involved with right now. And that inner rebel's really strong. I mean, you're going to have a really good weekend because the moon's going to be in Gemini on Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to really add a boost, like a lift. Whee! Who couldn't use a lift, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess in some countries, I got to be careful of that. I think in Ireland that might mean something different. I don't know. I have to be careful now. All right. Now, I think that's if you want to ride. That's different. A lift is okay. Yeah. All right. All right. So, anyhow, we're turning it on over to Cancer. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. You know, there's a little bit of attention, you know, for water signs in general whenever the sun goes into an air sign, because air is kind of like wind and it tends to dry up the emotions. It's all about rationale and logic and things like that. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know, there's no room for intuition here. There's no room for your feelings. We're all going to be rational and practical and logical. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's all about math and numbers, you know, a little bit of interior decorating thrown in and arrangement. You know, there is that artistic side to Libra and stuff, but right now you're dealing with how you feel in your soul. You know, how do you feel about your mother, your parents, your ancestors? How do you feel about your tribe, the people immediately around you? And generally, as Cancer's key phrase is, I feel, this is all about how do I feel? Now, we started out, you know, Friday with moon going in your third house, and you probably felt pretty good. You know, third house is about curiosity. There's a little sense of exploration here, like, oh, who are my neighbors? What do my siblings think about this? You know, oh, I need to talk to my old buddies from high school, you know, something like that. And then, or even college. And working with your hands, it becomes fun. But, you know, working with your hands will still be fun because moon will be in Gemini this weekend. In fact, you can make some spiritual gains. You know, you might want to just kind of lay low, isolate yourself a little bit, and focus on the more vulnerable, tender parts of your life. Like, hey, I feel emotional about this, I'm not so sure about this. That's okay. You know, that kind of honesty actually prevents accidents. It prevents you getting yourself into situations that you'd rather not be in. And here's a bit good news for Cancer. It's like Venus and Jupiter are in the 5th house. Your heart is super open to love. You've got some great creative ideas right now. And you're meeting all the right people. They're your children. If you have children, you're having a great relationship with them right now. Now, what might be challenging that is the whole Saturn thing. It's like, oh, they're having limits in their social life, and they're, you know, or maybe, you know, or they're, you know, some shocking things happened at school, and, you know, like, I love it when shocking things happen at school. It makes school more interesting, you know. I remember when I was a kid, there was some cards that were more revealing of the female anatomy than normal when they passed around. And my principal was female, and she was very cool about it. She brought all us boys in and said, hey, you know, the human body's a beautiful thing, and if you see it in art and stuff, this is great. This is maybe not so classy. And she just was so cool. So I'm giving it up to her, you know, today. You are so awesome there from Armenta Street School way back in the day. All right. Here we go, Leo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, what do we got? We've got a North Node in Leo. So you've got this hunger right now that has no bottom. And you're not really sure about how to manifest all these things you want. You know you want something, but you're not really sure how you're going to manifest it. And I mean, this is where I feel like prayer, meditation, positive visualization, they really go a long way. It couldn't hurt, you know? The worst you could be doing is relaxing for a while you're doing it, breathing for a while. But I'm going to say, get the feeling, you know, get the feeling of your success. What's Libra time about for you? Well, it's about poetry. It's about working with your hands. It's about your siblings and brothers and sisters. And they say this is not a place where like the sun is just like beaming out in the greatest place. It's kind of like the midnight sun, the darker time, you know. Sun's diminishing. We're going, oh no, we're losing the light. What are we going to do? You know, and what we do is we gather together with community. And we become a little more open and egalitarian, and we roll up our sleeves and we work together and we do the art that we're passionate about. And, you know, music, poetry, whatever that is. We show a lot of love to our parents, our mothers, our ancestors at this time with Jupiter and Venus. We do the hard work with working with others at a workplace. We try to be gentler and more diplomatic with people that confront us. And we're learning that we can be more inspired workers, more inspired people in every single way. All right. Okay. Well. Greetings, Virgo, and welcome to your horoscope. So, Virgo season ended, last week, and so you've had your first week of the sun transiting your second house. And what are the issues? Your issues are your voice, maybe your throat, how it feels, your family members, you're concerned about them, what they're going through, and money, finances, How do I make bank? How do I bring it home? And you've got some really good ideas right now. Back with Mercury, as well as the sun in the second house, you're in the idea incubation place, and opportunities are coming up. I'm so grateful for these opportunities, People are offering me wonderful things. And they're offering you wonderful things too. You just got to be open to it, and you're going to have to do some of the work in order to just manifest. So a lot of this Libra time thing for Virgos is about manifestation. How do I manifest? Venus and Jupiter in the third house. You have good friends. You have good connections with your siblings. Don't forget to utilize them. Don't forget to practice gratitude. Gratitude is such a turn on. And Virgo, that's the one thing that really steps up your game, because you're really good at finding problems. Can you praise what's good? Can you find what you're thankful for? This is how you will critically get ahead in the world and be like the person that gets invited to more parties and more things, because I know that's what you want to have happen. And learning to love your elders, learning to treat your limitations and transformation as if, hey, it's a child. Do we slap a kid when they take their first steps and they fall down? No, we don't. And we shouldn't do that with each other when we make mistakes. We need to start saying, hey, get up and try it again. It's okay. I love you. I am there for you. And that's what I want to express to you. Plus, there's there's a little bit of an exotic adventure going on. And right now you're very discriminating about relationships. If they're not spiritually uplifting, it's like, hey, I'm not going there. That's it. And that's smart thinking. I like you. Okay. Greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope, and happy birthday. If you're a Libra having a birthday right now, it's just so awesome to celebrate with you this week. Taurus is the other Venus-ruled sign. That's where the moon is Friday. If you're watching it as it comes off the press hot. Laying low, working on your health, cooperating with others, working on your finances, and in practical ways also having alliances with people to work on. The weekend looks kind of romantic, or at least fun, because it could be like you're traveling, you're going someplace, because the moon will be in your 9th house this weekend, so it looks like a really good time to explore and to do something different. I'm kind of getting excited about these opportunities that are being presented to you. Your thinking is clear because of Mercury in the first house, albeit combust. And I want to remind you that most of you Libras are Vedic Virgos, and so this Mercury thing, you actually are real thinking people, and you're really into making technology work for you, making aesthetics work for you, and being a great team player, being someone who's helpful, real helpful, has that service thing going too. Money's there, Venus and Jupiter in the second house. Money's here. It's here. And better relationship with your family. It's here. And improving your throat and your singing and your voice, that's here as well. So all of this is good. I mean, there's Pluto and Saturn in the 4th house, so your parents might go through limits. You might be going through limits about your own personal feelings and space and the people you hang out with. But you've got mojo. You've got action and ability to move things with Mars in the 5th. So go with that. And know that a little transformation never hurt anybody. Okay. All right. Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. It's never too late to be loving. I mean, this is going to be the last full-on week of Jupiter in your first house in the real strong sense. Venus is there. Venus is going to be playing with you for a long time, Scorpio. Like she isn't already. Well, I mean, Friday looks very romantic for the get-go today. You know, it's looking good. Like, you know, your relationship, Venus ruled nakshatra, all that stuff. It's like, juiciness, yeah. Feeling that juicy Scorpio vibe. Oh, gosh, thank you, you know. Thank you for the love, you know, that, you know, once again, that gratitude thing is so powerful. People want to hang out with you right now. I mean, you really got it going on good, and you will for the next couple weeks. Okay, so you're restless about where you live. There's a lot more movement than there's been for a while for you, so a little bit of travel. You're appreciating your children and your art projects as something to be a catalyst for spiritual activity. Relationships intensify this weekend to some extent, so there's a little bit of an intensity. But you know, you'll have your intuitive thinking cap on. And you know, we got to have compassion for people when we go through this type of stuff. You know, you're really hungry for a good work position. Also, there's kind of a sense of fame that's coming towards you as well. And it's important just not to get caught up in the ego or be part of your own undoing this week with that Sun and Mercury transiting. Pay attention to your dreams. They really do mean something. And follow suit. Move on. Move forward, forward, forward. Okay. Greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope. Well, I mean, what I'd say right now about you is that you have some pretty good karma, and that your social life is more emphasized right now. Also, politics too. You're really kind of tripping out on politics as the political season's getting really heated up. And this is going to be a game-changing election in the United States this year. And so, in a lot of ways, this election is more important than the presidential election because a lot of local things are being fulfilled, and also your representatives who make all the laws and really do the stuff that changes our life. This can all be flipped around in a positive direction. So, I mean, you know, if you're not happy with the orange man or whatever, you know, this is your chance, you know. And if you're loving the orange man, this is your chance too, I suppose. I get that. I get a lot of poor people in this country, especially in rural America, have Stockholm syndrome, where they learn to love their captors, you know. And it's like it's not time for that. What I would do right now is have courage, move forward, work on the projects that you have. There's just like a lot of hard work ahead of Sagittarius to get the things they want, and that's the truth. It's kind of a romantic weekend too. Yeah, you get that. All right. Okay, Capricorn, here you are. Good old Pluto and Saturn, so these age-old planets. You have a lot of insights, and you have a lot of wisdom right now, and it's best to always use caution and move a little bit slowly, but I think a lot of your insights are now making sense, and I see, you know, thought bubbles, little light bulbs going off on your head right now, and you're making incredibly intelligent decisions at work. And so people are recognizing your ability to be a great worker. Your social life looks sweet, looks fun and flirtatious, and you've got some really neat creative ideas expanding and going. And I mean, once we get into like Tuesday, it'll be a good time for negotiation and romance. And selling tools that you don't need, you know, get you a little extra cash. You know, that's not bad. An old car you don't use, that could produce some cash too. Well, hello Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so it's time for you to take positive action on your life and realize your leadership ability. I wouldn't do a lot of economic speculating this week. But what I'd say is this is a great time for travel for you. This is a great time for education and to pay attention to school. And the weekend looks actually good for opening up your heart and doing some of your creative mojo, being with your children, playing with them. All of that is going to produce marvelous results. And if you don't have children, it's your creative projects that live beyond you. And I think as far as relationships go, you're getting a much clearer idea of what you want and what you can't take. And, you know, you got to watch out for takers. You know, give and take is the way to be, regardless of gender. We all have something to put on the table. Let's do it. All right, so closing off here with Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. You know, fear, as I say in Dune, fear is a mind killer. There might be people that are sneaky and do things behind your back. I never enjoyed that. There's people that plot things. I've been plotted on before without having clear communication. This person didn't want to really negotiate. They were already made their decision. That's hard, you know. And there's a lot of changes. You know, this is kind of a time where you're dependent on other people in a sense. And in some ways there's unjust rewards, you know. Some of them are painful, some of them are blessings. And ultimately, they'll all be blessings. The ones that are more painful are really blessings. And they're like lessons, but there's a blessing attached to it. And when you seek things spiritually, and you educate yourself, and you know, you listen to your higher teachers, man, really great things happen. If you're in the art or music world, kind of using other cultures, I'm not talking a cultural appropriation, I'm talking sharing, loving sharing with friends, and making beautiful music. And your life is just going to get better. But it's going to take a little bit of hunkering down and being vulnerable and sharing with the disappointments. And with that, that's the end of the horoscopes for this week. Thanks for share this with friends. I love your comments. Keep them coming. We'll do this again next week. Cosmic Cab, Planetary Persuader. I am out. All right, we're done. Greetings with the monocle. People got a monocle.